Okay, first video of the booklet. So trying to be as quick as possible with these things, super concise, between 2 to 5 minutes. And the objective is to kind of talk about overall ways of doing things and then applying it to lots of examples. So let's talk about indices first, okay? So when you see a to the minus 1, right? That minus is the same as saying 1 over. So you're going to go 1 over a to the whatever's remaining. Okay, so the 1 was remaining, so it's 1 over a. A to the minus 2, you see that minus in the power, which means 1 over a to the whatever's left. Okay, so that once that minus is dealt with, you're doing whatever's left. So a to the minus 10 is 1 over, because you see the minus, a to the 10. And if we had a to the half, sorry, minus a half, that's the same as 1 over, because we see the minus, a to the half. Brilliant. But now let's deal with fractions in the indices. So if we have a to the half by itself, if you see a fraction in the indice, then the bottom number tells you what root you've got. Okay, so in other words, you can look at this like a to the half to the power of 1. And maybe it'll make it more clear if we did this. So if this was a to the 3 over 4, okay, can you see that's a to the 1 over 4 all to the power of 3. This is because of our indice law. When we have a to the x all to the power of y, we know that times is the indices together. So 1 over 4 here, 1 over 4 here, times by 3 creates 3 by 4. Okay, so you can separate it. So you can put your roots, and these are interchangeable. This is the same as a cubed to the power of a quarter. Okay, sometimes you need to decide which order is the easiest or more convenient for you to solve problems. So let's be clear about what we do with the fraction then. So when we have a to the half here in this first example, the number on the bottom is 2, so that means the square root of a, and remember this is all to the power of 1 because we've got this 1 still on the outside. If we look at our second example, we split that up into a quarter and then put the 3 on the outside. So what's that a to the quarter mean? So the bottom numbers are 4, so that means the 4th root of a to the 3, okay? And if we look at the next line down, can you see the quarters on the outside? So that's 4th root of everything which is inside. So 4th root of a cubed. These two things are the same. It just depends on which order you'd like to apply them. Okay, so let's test that out with some examples. So if I have 81 to the minus half, we see that minus, so we go straight to 1 over 81 to the half. So that's 1 over 81 to the half. Well, that half, okay, you can see there's a 2 on the bottom of that fraction. So remember that's the same as 1 over 81 to the half all to the power of 1. And that's a useful tip to realize. So that half means square root all to the power of 1. So the square root of 81 is 9. And then you've got your 1 to the outside, so it's just 1 over 9. Okay, so I've done that slow with lots of steps, just to really illustrate that point. So here you've got a 9 to the 3 over 2. So that's 9. You can see that half all cubed, like so. Remember, so you can take the fraction out first and then put the multiplier on the outside. Because that's over 2, that becomes square root of 9 all cubed. So the square root of 9 is 3, and 3 cubed is 27. Okay, because if we did it the other way around, if we'd gone, okay, 9 cubed all to the half, right? 9 cubed is a big number. 9 times 9 is 81. Times that by 9, oh, we're getting really big numbers, so it's not very convenient. So actually, it's much easier to square root the 9 first. Now this one, you've got a third all to the power of minus 2. So we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to follow our pattern. So when we see a minus, that means 1 over. So 1 over a third to whatever's remaining, which is 2. Okay, so 2 and the third stay together. Okay, and then we'll deal with the next step. So 1 over 1/3 all squared. So when you have that, that squares the top and it squares the bottom. Okay, so you square top and you square the bottom. So 1 squared is 1 and 3 squared is 9. And then you've got your final fraction over a fraction. So what do you do when you have 1 over 1 over 9? A nice way to look at that is the same as 1 over 1, because 1 is just 1 over 1, isn't it? Over 1 over 9. And what happens? That 9 flips up and times is your numerator. So you have 1 over 1 times 9 over 1. So the answer is 9 over 1, so 9. Okay? Maybe we should do a couple more examples of that fraction thing again. So let's say we have 3 over 2 over 5, okay? You can look at 3 as 3 over 1. And you've still got your 2 over 5. And that way you can see the 5 flips up and times is the 3, and the 2 flips up and times is the 1. So in other words, 3 over 1 times 5 over 2. So 15 over 2. Top times top, bottom times bottom. Okay? I think that's it for the indices. Okay.